Super Boss Kazuna is the biggest damage you could possibly do in the game, and it's a lot of fun seeing those insanely high numbers. You come together as an alliance, and you take down a particular boss, and in today's video, we're going to take a look at 2 teams of each variation to take down the new Super Boss Kazuna Clash Perona. Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back from the Optc video, and in today's video, as I said, we're taking a look at the Super Boss, the 15-star event against Kazuna Clash Perona. I have 2 teams for you guys. I've sort of thrown together these teams to try to help you guys take down the event, and hopefully they help you out. If they do, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Let me know in the comment section below if you're excited for this Super Boss. It's more of a cooldown Super Boss, but look, if you're excited, let me know down below. With that said, let's dive in. Once again, shout out to the OPTC Twitter for the information provided. This is the Super Boss information. As you guys can see, we only have 2 Super Bosses, which makes sense because the last month has been built up around Cerebral, Dex, and Int characters, so it made sense to only have 2 types, being Quick and Psi, the counterparts to both Dex and Ints. So, Cerebrals are the name of the game in this Super Boss, and both teams revise around the Cerebral aspect. So, the first Super Boss is the Quick Super Boss, the 15-star event. Fighters, Cerebrals get all the good stuff. On stage 2, there is a barrier for 3 good taps for 2 turns, 1 turn of Special Reverse, 3 turns of Threshold, and an Intimidation for -2 turns if you use a status effect damage boost for 4 turns. On defeat, you take 50% hit for your HP, and after 1 turn, you lose all the beneficial effects. You get a 50% HP cut regardless, 6 turns of attack down once you enter stage 3, 2 turns of Special Reverse, and 6 turns of Recovery Bind. Then the enemy will retreat. On the final stage, there's full immunity except for increased damage taken and delay for 99 plus turns. You take 30,000 damage, the enemy turns into a super type, gives you block obs, gives you special bind, 1 turn of paralysis, and sets the Wano slot multiplier to 1.5 for 5 turns. If you use a special that lowers the defense or paralyzes, so namely either Robin or Nami, you are going to lose all your beneficial effects and get a 1.1 times attack boost applied for 5 turns. If you use an orb boost, you then lose all your beneficial effects and get a negative type effects for 5 turns. So, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and it's not a lot of fun. However, they really want you to bring the new Robin and Koala. Now, I'm using Robin Koala as a friend captain here because I do believe people don't have that particular unit, and understandably so. So, using Robin Koala's Super Swap on turn 2 will remove the Threshold, as well as give you Color Affinity, and then you can use their special to give you a 3-turn Orb boost, a carry-over Color Affinity boost, remove the barrier, and as a captain, they get around the Special Reverse. So basically, everything you guys see here on stage 2 is going to be covered by a Robin Koala friend captain. The team is led by Law. You have a Cerebral leader, as well as a Dex leader, and the team is a bit of a Dex, Free Spirit, Cerebral hybrid shenaniganry. Characters that we have on the team, like I said, we have Law as our captain. He's a 5x captain and a super type, provided you have one of the following characters. And for our team, we actually have Luffy. So, utilizing Law here is going to be our attack booster, and he gives you additional damage by 1.5. Next, we've got the Sugo Rush Sanji. The Rush ability is one of the most broken abilities in the game. Even at level 1, you just need 2 of the following characters on the crew, being any of the Straw Hat characters, and the character needs to either have a Recovery, Tandem, or Wano slot, which obviously Sanji can actually give. So we have a Luffy, we have a Nami, we have an Usopp, so we're pretty much covered there. Plus, Sanji's going to be our base stamp booster to Free Spirit and Fighters, which Robin Koala are, Sanji is, and Luffy is as well. He also gives a Chain Boundary effect, and he can be a super class unit when he swaps into the captain. You do need to swap out of Sanji, though, to get the 1.5, and then that way you actually come back into being Law, who buffs the entire crew. So, Robin Koala will have a super type and a super class. So will Luffy, and so will Sanji. So those 3 units are going to be hitting very, very hard. Sanji can also use the Brook support for the chain multiplicative effect. And then we've got Luffy. Now, Luffy's pretty much here. So you can get a full board of Tandem Orbs, and then that way you can actually access the Super Tandem ability. Because you'll be tapping with Sanji first for the rush, you can then tap into Nami and Usopp, and then into into Luffy. You are going to be hitting very, very hard with this particular unit. On top of that, this Luffy Super Tandem ability actually works for Robin and Koala because they're a Free Spirit character as well. So, super nice stuff there. You love to see that. The next unit is Nami and Usopp. Now, Nami and Usopp, I had to bring another Straw Hat to get the rush ability of Sanji, and Nami and Usopp kind of fit the bill perfectly. On top of that, they can actually give a removal of Special Blind, and they're a 2.25 times color affinity booster, but that's not going to matter because we have the color affinity of Robin Koala. So if we didn't, like, there would be it's another option, but the upside to this unit is they increase the delay enemy boost by 0.3. Remember, this particular Super Boss, you can actually delay the enemy. So utilizing their Super Swap mechanic, which we will actually get because they're a Cerebral unit, we can remove the Special Bind from themselves, which we'll definitely have to do, and then you can double damage dealt to delayed enemies for 1 turn. So big upside to that is you then use their special to increase it to 2.3, and they can also remove the paralysis too, which is super nice. So they do paralyze, which obviously is a bit of a problem because you do have an interrupt on paralysis. However, their paralysis doesn't go through full immunity. Remember, the enemy is immune to everything except for additional damage and delay. So the paralysis won't proc. So you'll be absolutely fine here just to get the delay of Nami and Usopp. And then that way you can get their conditional boost there as well. On top of that, they can use the VV support because they're a Nami and Usopp character, giving you an extra 10% resistance down for your Dex characters. The final unit on this team is completely replaceable. I have put Crocodile and Doflamingo, one of the newer legends, the latest Kazuna legend from last month's Kazuna. And the reason I have them here is because they have a very unique special that can actually give a buff to particular attack buffing effects. Now, you can do up to 4 of these, and every time you do, you lose 25% of your HP. Now, the downside to using Croc and Doflamingo is you do get these buffs. However, you won't then get the effects of Sanji. Now, Sanji is going to be a unit that needs HP for the rush mechanic. However, you can still use this to sort of just buff one of your abilities rather than just going crazy and buffing a lot of them. And the reason I added this particular character as well is because they're actually boosted. On top of that, they can be a Dex variation, and you can use their Super Swap on turn 2 to give yourself a full board of orbs, just to make sure that you can actually have the kill for that particular stage. With Robin and Koala, like I said, they are going to be your barrier removal. They give you the 2.5 times orb boost, and then they give you that monstrous color affinity buff. But do they actually, if I can remember correct, they don't give overheal, do they? No, they heal back the 50% of all the damage that you take. But with this team, you have quite a lot of healing with the Law super type. You have a lot of healing with Sanji. Sanji can also heal too. So like I said, I would use the Crocodile Doflamingo special to basically remove your HP, just so that way that when you use Law's super type, you heal back 25%. So basically that's just free to use the Crocodile ability. And then utilizing Sanji is going to give you a bunch of healing too. Remember, Sanji is going to give you a full body recovery orbs, which kind of whatever, but then he heals 15,000 of your HP as well. So it's up to you guys. If you guys want to use Croc Doflamingo, you can take them off and run any other unit. Just that was the only thing that we had that was missing, basically, for extra buffs for the team. So that's the verse quick variation. Should work quite nicely. I don't know what the damage will look like exactly, but for the second variation, we are versing Psy. Now, Psy-driven and Cerebral characters get all of the good stuff. They get their versatility, switch effects, and their special charge. And then on stage 2, there's 1 turn of damage null, 3 turns of damage reduction, 5 turns of resilience, and after 1 turn, you're going to lose all your beneficial effects, you're going to get super block slots, and then you're going to get ship bind for 3 turns, as well as the enemy running away. So a lot of very, very annoying shenaniganry. So ideally, you don't really want to pass a turn on this stage, but if you do, it's not the end of the world. There are ways around it as well. On the final stage, there is full immunity except for delay. Once again, delay immunity is not a thing, which is super interesting, I guess. The enemy turns into a super type. You get a full bottle block orbs. There's 6 turns of damage reduction. And your captain and friend captain get paralyzed for 6 turns. On top of that, your crewmates get 1 turn of paralysis. And if you increase damage taken, you lose all your beneficial effects and accumulated values removed. So Ideally, you don't want to give increased damage taken with a special, but you can with something like a versatility or a switch. So, and that's what we're going to be doing right here with this particular team. So the team is led by Queen with an Alba friend captain. And the reason we're using Queen as captain is so on stage 2, we can actually use our Queen and our Alba special. So that way we get the end of turn damage, as well as getting a color affinity buff, chain boost, and all the chain shenanigans of Alba. Now, the way that the Beast Pirates work, and this is a very Beast Pirate-centric team, the way these characters actually work is if you have an attack boost and an orb boost, they apply a secondary ability. Now, Alba's going to give a 2.0 chain multiplier buff, which is crazy. On top of that, he's going to give 1500 base stats and set the tap timing at 0.7 every time you hit a perfect. Now, to get this, you need to have an attack boost and an orb boost plus an additive to the chain. Now, Alba is your additive to the chain, so as long as you have an attack and orb boost, you're going to get all of those effects. Utilizing Queen with the top musical support is actually going to do this for you. So Queen gives you end of turn damage, 1 times the damage dealt by normal attacks of this character, in non-type damage at the end of the turn for 3 turns, and he gives you a full board of tandem slots, which is going to be just covered. And the upside to this is that he can then kill the resilience, but with his captain action, he can actually go through the damage reduction effect. So the idea then is to have a full board of orbs, you have color affinity, you have all the tap shenaniganry, and ideally, Queen should just kill stage 2. With the support of Top Musica, you can get an attack boost and an orb boost to your driven characters, and then Alba's going to give you everything else. And like this should do a lot of damage and just easily kill. We're going to be utilizing Queen and King after the Kaido special anyway, so that way we can actually get them back. But before we do that, we are going to do a couple of things. We're going to use the Jack special. Jack will give resistance down for driven and for strikers, as well as giving a chain multiplier. Doesn't he? I swear he gives a chain multiplier. Yeah, there he goes. He sets a chain multiplier at 2.75, maxing it 30 times for 2 turns otherwise. But if you have an attack boost and a slot boost when you use this, you get a whole bunch of other effects too. But unfortunately, we're not going to have that. It is what it is. We're just basically using him for the chain boundary and for the 30% driven and striker resistance. He also can be part of the super tandem that we are going to be using from Alba. So Alba is going to be our super tandem unit, as we can bring a friend captain that is rainbowed. We have the free-to-play Who's Who on this team. We're going to be using his special as well before utilizing Kaido. And the only reason he's here is because he is a driven unit, obviously. But he's an int character that is an easy 150 and can give 15% powerhouse resistance to all enemies. Remember, resistance doesn't get blown away with Kaido, but anything else you apply to yourself definitely will. So this unit's going to give some more resistance just for himself and for Alba. Alba's a powerhouse unit as well. Finally, we can then use our Kaido special. Kaido is going to give us an attack boost, and he's going to give us an orb boost. However, he's going to wipe away all of the positive buffs that we have. Lucky for us, though, we don't have any positive buffs. Once we've done that, we can activate his versatility too, which will give 1.5 times additional damage that ignores immunity to status effects or anything like that. And that is going to be not removable by the enemy too. Kaido also has a final tap, which is very, very strong. However, for most people, you're probably not going to have him maxed out, but that's okay. Just getting the extra base stats is going to be like nice. Just the 1250. If you have him higher, like he goes up to 2250, but it's just a little bit more damage. It's not the best final tap. It's probably one of the worst final taps, if I'm honest, but it is quite nice to see that we are getting a little bit more damage there. On top of that, we are using the Moria support on him, which is going to give us a 1.3 times base stat booster. Finally, we have Old Reliable in the Straw Hat crew. This is the final tap that we do want to be using, not the Kaido one, like I said. Whilst that little bit of extra damage is nice, it's one of the worst final taps in the game, so we're replacing it with this final tap. This is the one that we're going to be using, because this is actually good. This gives us 1.2 times the total damage dealt by normal attacks of all other characters as extra damage on the final stage. On top of that, we can use the Bardo support, which gets around the paralysis on our captains. On our crew. But you're probably thinking, hey, Stump, you get 6 turns of paralysis on your captains. What are you going to do about that? Well, the beautiful thing about Alba is he's actually immune to paralysis as a captain. It's just, you just cannot touch the boy Alba. And if you are in the invisible effect of Queen, you don't have to worry about that either. Now, Queen doesn't have a super class. He doesn't have a super type. Alba does. Alba does, which is awesome, because Alba's going to give himself a 1 orb, and he's going to give you chain shenanigans with his super type, but Queen doesn't. However, Queen's still a 5.75 times captain with tandem and Wano slots, which you get from Kaido. And remember, if you are going to be using this team, you do need to have a Beast Pirate on the left with a tandem slot, so that way you can trigger the super tandem of Alba. The idea here is we're going to start the chain with Jack, hit with, no, we're not. We're going to start with Alba. Remember, the Beast Pirates have the same criteria when it comes to their super tandem. So you want to make sure you tap with Alba first and a rainbow one if you can. So that way your super tandem ability will give a 2.25 times attack to driven characters. And as this whole team is actually driven, everyone will get the buffs. So starting with Alba, then going into Jack and Queen, hitting with Who's Who or Kaido, whoever has more attack, and then finishing off with the Straw Hat Crew is basically just going to double all of that damage. So there you guys go. That is the Super Boss prep. I'll do some shorts on some of the teams that I've been cooking up, but I wanted to put these teams out because they're a little bit more straightforward for you guys. But if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. While you're down there, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.